My boyfriend made me a single mother and married another woman. My name is Amaka, and this is my story. I grew up in Enugu with big dreams of becoming a lawyer. I had always focused on my studies, avoiding distractions, until I met Chinedu in my second year at the university. Chinedu was charming, handsome, and everything a girl could want in a boyfriend. He was 2 years older than me and already working in a big company. He had a smooth way of talking and knew how to make me feel special. It didn't take long before I fell deeply in love with him. He promised me the world and I believed him. At first, everything was perfect. Chinedu was supportive, attentive, and always there for me. We would spend weekends together, going out to eat and watching movies. He even met my parents and they approved of him. He made me feel like I was the luckiest girl in the world. I trusted him completely. Things started to change in my final year in the university. I found out that I was pregnant. I was unsure of how to tell Chinedu. When I finally gathered the courage to tell him, I was expecting support. After all, we have talked about marriage before, and he had told me several times that he would want to spend the rest of his life with me. But the moment I told him about the pregnancy, everything changed. He looked at me as if I was a stranger. He asked me to take it out. This wasn't the Chinedu I knew. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I tried to reason with him. I thought he would change his mind. But instead, he became distant. He started avoiding my calls. When I finally met him in person, he told me he wasn't ready to be a father and we should take a break. How could someone who claimed to love me abandon me like this? Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, but Chinedu was nowhere to be found. He did not come to see the baby. He did not offer any support, and he refused to acknowledge that she was his daughter. It was not easy, but I had to stay strong for my daughter. Raising my daughter as a single mother was tough. I had to put my dreams of becoming a lawyer on hold, as I couldn't juggle law school and motherhood. My parents helped as much as they could, but the emotional toll was heavy. Everywhere I went, I could feel the judgment from people. Being a single mother in Nigeria is not easy. People whisper, they stare, and they blame the woman. One day, I found out through mutual friends that Chinedu had gotten married to another woman. I couldn't believe it. He had moved on with his life as if I never existed, as if our daughter wasn't his child. But as the years passed, I focused on building a life for myself and my daughter. I worked odd jobs, saved up enough money, and started selling clothes. Slowly, I began to find my foot. My daughter grew up into a bright, beautiful girl who filled my life with joy. I realized that I didn't need Chinedu or any other man to validate my worth. One evening, I received a message from Chinedu. He wanted to talk. I never wanted to talk with him, but out of curiosity, I decided to meet up with him. When I saw him, he looked different. The confident, charming man I had once loved was gone. He looked tired and worn out. After some awkward small talk, he finally confessed. His marriage was falling apart. They had been trying to have children for years, but nothing had worked. They had gone to different places, but still no child. He admitted that his life has not been easy. He started questioning all the decisions he made in the past. I was wrong, Amaka, he said. I should have stayed. I should have been there for you and our daughter. Now I'm paying the price for my actions. I sat there in silence, letting his words sink in. Part of me felt sorry for him, but another part of me felt vindicated. He was finally facing the consequences of his actions. Karma had finally come. But as much as he regretted his actions, I couldn't forget the pain he had caused me. I told him that while I had forgiven him, I had also moved on. My priority was my daughter, ensuring that she has the best life possible. He asked to be part of our daughter's life, but I told him that the decision was up to her. If she ever wanted to meet him, I wouldn't stand in the way, but I wouldn't force her either. As I walked away from there, I felt a sense of closure. Chinedu had left me to raise our daughter all alone. But in the end, I found strength in myself. I had learned to be independent. And my daughter is the greatest blessing in my life. Why Chinedu faced the consequences of his actions. It's well with you, my sister. My dear sister, you have spoken well, okay? Just talk to your daughter. If she's interested in seeing her father, then allow them to meet. If she's not interested, just let it be, alright? This is a lesson to some men that will get a girl pregnant. Instead of you to stand by her and take care of your child, you will say you're not ready to be a father. But meanwhile, you slept with her. Even if you don't want to marry that woman, make sure you take up your responsibility in case of tomorrow. It's very important.